I came across your work the year before, and I thought, who's that woman shouting on Instagram, gesticulating and saying what to do? And you were quite ferocious. And I thought, oh, how interesting. And don't do this. And I was doing all the bloody things, that you said not to be doing. And I think one of the first things was you saying about assets, get your assets working for you. And I just heard, get your assets working right, strength training, get your ass together. And my theme tune for working through FFU is called Get Your Shit Together. But I'm really glad actually I did have that much debt, and I did have debt, because what it showed me was that actually, look, you do have this underlying problem that if you had sorted it out, you wouldn't have known you've got a debt pattern problem. When you said in your training, Anne, I don't stick a needle of heroin in my arm and I don't do debt, that was just, got it. It was just so strong, the clarity around that. I was in a marriage to a woman. I was with her for 10 years, and then she suddenly left and left me with our joint debt. So I thought, right, I'd never been interested in money. When I was growing up, it just wasn't important to me. And also I grew up in a household that didn't have money. I went off to university. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to help people. And somebody said, why don't you do social work? And I thought, well, I didn't know what that was, and ended up doing data analysis and research. So I actually got in gear the part of my brain that isn't creative, which is very helpful because I am a very profound researcher. So my money story was great, and I felt, I was breaking my patterns. I was so focused on clearing the debt as well, which I did bit by bit. And I felt so good at that. I felt so good at being able to put a holiday on a credit card and pay it off immediately. And I was with a partner at that time who inspired me to kind of step up, and she got her money very sorted. And then, of course, COVID happened, and then the job just suddenly disappeared because I was pursuing my music. So I invested in equipment, studio equipment. I invested in training. I spent really all of my money on training and on equipment. And then I was thinking, I need to make this work. And that's really how the debt accrued, because I had my head in the sand about the business not really being a business, not making money. But after the savings began to run out, I was using credit to prop that up. And I think I was getting into a cold sweat most nights, thinking the money's going down, the money's going down, the money's going down, from my savings. And then I agreed to, we went on holidays. Went to my partner at the time. She had 3 deaths in 1 year, of mum, dad, and uncle, and I supported her all through that. We were meant to be going on holiday, a lovely holiday that was, to take all the stress away. She was actually paying for it, which she'd never ever done. But I obviously had some expenses with that, which really didn't suit me business wise. So I agreed to that, which was a betrayal to myself. We had the worst holiday ever and ended up splitting up anyway. So then it was, then I've been kind of, as sad as that's been, a 6.5 relationship, I also feel I haven't betrayed myself in what's for me. And, and then I was waiting to hear about New Orleans. I had applied for this thing where I could go and live in New Orleans for a year and get paid $65K just to be there. And I thought, yes, I'm doing that. That's what the relationship. And of course I didn't get that. So I was like, right, stuff has to be dealt with. Then your work came up and I thought, oh, there's no way I can afford that. How the hell am I going to afford that? And part of me, not the part of me that in museum bookshop goes, oh, I've got to have that thing. I've got to have it right now. That's my thing with spending, not shoes. It's like historical artifacts and books, Part of me, a very calm part of me, perhaps ancestry informed, because I was trying to squeeze in watching all of your last lot of videos before the deadline. And part of me just said, just join and do the training. It was completely calm. It was not planned, but it was so calm. And before I knew it, I joined up. And afterwards I was thinking, what the hell have I done? And then month by month, I've been able to, the funds for that have appeared. And I think now, I've really taken your stuff to heart. So your work was a great relief, to look at data, to look at number crunching, to look at the reality of things. But also there's a kind of relief of the simplicity, for me, the stage I'm at with my wealth journey, I'm keeping, I've started assets, which I'm absolutely committed to, and that's my, non-negotiable magic porridge pot. And then, I've also absolutely committed to clearing my debt, and also my income. So, my income streams, I want to do it from my own hand. I've decided I don't want to go back to employment, but I know that I'm going to assassinate the part of me that was employed and do actually it consciously, because I'm very hooked in, I think, to that. I mean, all of your training, Anne, just this mindset about assets, that makes me think, right, I've got all these other things I've already done. That's actually an asset. I'm going to turn that into an asset. There's poetry I've written. I'm going to take that from files and loose bits of paper and put it on Amazon. Maybe nobody would buy it. It doesn't matter. That's a potential asset. It's, maybe it'll help somebody. I've enjoyed doing it. But that whole mindset really helps me understand my value as well. And, with things I do. And obviously the training helps me with understand the value of just being me, that's enough, which is a very important thing. I'm obsessed at the moment with debt reduction. So, I have done before sort of changing things around that before, but this feels different. And I've identified what are the key things to move the needle on my business. And it's challenging, I also love the 90-day plans, which I was kind of doing anyway, because I work with cycles of the moon, and those things that you do link very much with the changes in the year as well, with the kind of equinox and those kind of things. And I know there's things in December as well that you've got lined up. So I think I like to use the natural timings that I'm doing anyway in the year, but have this very practical, like the 90-day commitments. I love that, and I love refresh it, because some things aren't so relevant. I love that means I'm not therefore doing X, Y, and Z or agreeing to this. So for now, I know at the moment one of my priorities is focusing on my health, preparing for surgery, looking at how I can create income streams and managing debt and doing this shifting over, because thanks to you, I've got my business expenses separate from my personal, which is the relief, the relief of that. It's like, oh, I can actually think and breathe without this on me, which is actually should be on that entity. And I had tried it separate before, but my business wasn't making any money, so I ended up paying for a business account. So it's so different now. And but it's about this alignment. It's again, you as the engineer, the right structures in place. So support goes where it's needed. So the glutes of the body supporting all of the structures of the body. You've built big infrastructures, Anne. So the advantage with this is, while I'm doing it from kind of the famine approach, I've got these structures in place that will be able to take massive load, because they're the correct structures. So I'm really looking forward to accelerating that and getting the massive load coming, because these are the same, whether I'm in famine mode or, the galore of life. So I think this ability to really compress, say, time, and I've got like an inbox of 80,000 emails or something stupid, but I just think this, that is so irrelevant, that particular thing or that thing. And there's a precision in the way of thinking that the Wealth Chef training gives. So thank you for that. That's what's changed.